recorded so that we might share it with people who registered but are unable to attend. So just bear that in mind. We don't have a lot planned for you here this morning. It's all wrapped up in a pretty tight little package here, but we will have plenty of time for question and answers. I want to welcome all of you today who are joining us. And I want to give a very special welcome to our colleagues who are joining us from the American University in Dubai. We have with us today Dr. David A. Schmidt, who is the president of AUD, and Ms. Yujin Schmidt, who is the study abroad and exchange coordinator. I am also joined today by my colleague at Amideast, Justine Pinkerton, who is our program assistant, and a lot of you will be familiar with her as you've been corresponding with her off and on a lot lately. We're so pleased to have all of them and all of you here with us for the first of what are 3 webinars dedicated to introducing this partnership between the American University in Dubai and Amideast. As a reminder, the next 2, which we have advertised, there are links, you can go register. There will be one on Thursday, April 15th, again at 10 a.m. EDT, that will focus on business, engineering, and architecture, and we will have faculty from those programs joining us for that webinar. And then there will be a 3rd one, the last one in this series, will be held on Tuesday, May 4th, again at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that one will be focusing very specifically on Middle East studies and the Clinton Scholarship that is available for helping finance students who are interested in obtaining the Middle East Studies certificate at AUD. Very many of you sent questions in advance. We thank you very much for those. A lot of them related to Middle East studies and Arabic, which we'll be keeping under that rubric. So if we don't answer your questions today, you may want to join us for that webinar. And just remember that if you can't join us live or don't want to join us live, you can always register and then we will send you the recording afterwards. Our plan for today, I'm just going to give take a few minutes to introduce the idea behind this collaboration. And then our colleagues from the American University in Dubai are going to give you a general introduction to the university, to themselves, to Dubai. And then Justine is going to take over and she's going to talk about where to find all of the info for the program and point you, for instance, to where it lives in the Teradata directory, how we will be handling the application process, and a number of other things. And then we will open it up to questions. We remind you again that the applications for the spring 2022 semester, which will be our first with the American University in Dubai, will open on July 19th. So we still have some time. Again, many of you sent along a number of questions in advance, and I think we'll be able to tackle most of those throughout our remarks today. We feel very fortunate that AUD reached out to us last summer. I think as, you know, international educators, and especially people who work on the ed abroad side of things, last year was a time of great distress. And one of the happiest things for us, one thing that has just really kept us going through all of this, has been working on this collaboration with AUD over the past year. It gave us a lot of hope, especially to start something new in the midst of what has been a terrible year of loss in our field. I've been with Amideast for just over 4 years now, and throughout that time, we have been working on and talking about ways to do more in the UAE with education abroad programming. We have done quite a bit of customized programming over the years, although not so much recently, but we do have 2 Amideast offices there, both in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi. And we have been having a lot of these conversations about, how we might put more ed abroad programming on the ground there. And this collaboration with AUD gives us the opportunity to do so. To clarify, from the start, Amideast Education Abroad has always had two kinds of programs. One, the kind with which most of you are most familiar, are, for lack of a better word, those island programs currently in Amman or in Rabat or in Tunisia, which is only in the summer and a little bit unique in terms of our programming, formerly in Cairo and some other places, where we are the host institution. It is they are standalone programs without institutional partners on the ground in our host communities, because again, we are the host institution. The other kind of program that we have had throughout the entirety of our existence as an education abroad provider has been this kind of direct enroll programming with a local university partner. So we've had a few of these over the years, a number of them. The one you may be most familiar with that we've had for a number of years now, which is not currently running because of uncertainties due to the pandemic, is with El Akhawain University in Ifran, Morocco. So if you want to think of the closest parallel for what we're doing vis-a-vis this collaboration with AUD, that's it. It's a direct enroll program where we work with students, we work with our US-based university partners, and we work with the local host institution to make a direct enrollment relationship between the student and the local partner. That's what we're doing in this case. We're particularly thrilled about this partnership because it gives us an opportunity to get more US-based students to the region to study more things. As everyone, I'm sure, on this call is aware, fewer US students study in the MENA region than pretty much anywhere else, and most of them are coming to the region to study Arabic language and Middle East studies. Those things are very important, and they should and they need to continue, and they are available at AUD. But if we're not also bringing US students to the MENA region to study the same things, the range of things that they can study in university, and the range of things that students going to the global north, for instance, get to study, then all of our efforts as a field to decolonize this thing that we're doing, they're not holistic. And we can and we should and we want to do better. At the same time, we understand that English language curricula are a key to that, as are a number of accreditations. And so when AUD so kindly reached out last summer to talk about, hey, what can we do together to make this happen? It just struck us as a perfect fit, and we couldn't be more pleased with what we've got on tap now, and the opportunity to work together with them. So with that, I'm going to be quiet, and I am gonna hand off the presentation to my colleagues from the American University in Dubai.
Thank you, Dr. Corbett. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. I'll just say a few words real quickly. So on behalf, my name is Dr. David A. Schmidt. I am the president of the American University in Dubai, or AUD. And on behalf of the American University in Dubai, I'm so pleased and honored to be partnering with Amideast. I want to thank all of those who logged in for taking the time to learn a little bit about AUD. I'm confident that you will see that AUD is an amazing option that is truly safe, genuinely diverse, with a challenging academic curriculum as once again, an option for a study abroad experience for your students. And very similar to what Dr. Corbett was saying, is I think we fill all of the boxes. We tick all of the boxes. We are accredited, as my partner will say here, we are accredited in the UAE. We are accredited in the United States by SACS. And all of our professional programs are professionally accredited, whether it's ABIT or ABIT or any of the other ones. So I know you didn't log on to listen to a president wax on, so I will let Ms. Yujun introduce AUD. Thank you so much.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Yujun Schmidt, and I am the study abroad and exchange coordinator at AUD. So I have a presentation here for you, and we're just gonna start off. So let me share my screen with you first, and then we can kick off the presentation. I'm gonna start with a short video. Oops, sorry about that. Let's try it again. All right, that is enough. Let me see if we can get rid of side thing here. Oops. Right there, it's not running very well right now. Great. All right, so that's just a short video to introduce the American University in Dubai. And then the university is established as the first private university in Dubai in 1995. And Dubai is one of the most diverse and metropolitan city in the world. And just want to have this opportunity to share this wonderful picture overview from AUD and 9 to share with everyone. And Dubai is very, not just only for the famous skyline, it is indeed a city with a lot of futuristic architectures, and as a kind of magical place in a sense, because you have people here full of spirit, always after the east, the biggest mall in the world, the biggest this, the tallest building, and it kind of make people feel like this is a place where is a place that where you can make impossible possible. So I think Dubai has a lot of potential for US students to explore. And here I would like to talk a little bit about why students should choose AUD. Most of these highlights our colleagues, Dr. Corbett and Dr. Schmidt has mentioned already. The first is accreditation, and I would like to emphasize on diversity. At AUD, we have over 105 nationalities represented on campus, and also our curriculum, as mentioned previously, is accredited not only by the university, also our individual program, and our language of instruction is English as well. And we have very vibrant and dynamic campus life, and we also have our own athletic team, and we have certified student club currently, probably will be expanding in the future as well. And the university accreditation, just a little bit more details about that. We are accredited by the Ministry of Education and Southern Association of Colleges and School and Commission on Colleges. And here is our program accreditations individually for our program. So most importantly, we have the business accreditation AACSB here. And just a little bit overview for our ranking. So for QS World University Ranking 2021, we are ranked as the #1 university in Dubai and number 4 university in whole UAE, and we are ranked globally for international faculty and international student globally as #4. So just again, to showcase our diverse population. And here is an overview for academic programs. We have a School of Architecture, Art and Design, School of Art and Sciences, School of Business Administration, School of Engineering, and Mohammed bin Rashid School for Communication. And we would talk a little bit more detail, focus on architecture, business administration, and engineering in the upcoming webinar on the 15th of April. And as mentioned before, I know a lot of students are interested, or a lot of people are interested in the Middle Eastern Studies certificate. Here, just a quick overview for what we have available. And it is a little bit more than regular minor, and it requires at least 18 hours to complete this certificate. Here's a few quick glance on AUD campus. We have our swimming team, football and volleyball, and our library, and one of our classroom, and I think this is a business building, and also our campus. Oh, oops, skip one. Another quick glance for campus here, our gymnasium, athletic field, student center, which we just call it simply the center, and another view of campus with, yes, we do have a few cats on campus, and a Starbucks. We also have on-campus housing available. It is a great option for students to stay on campus because it's a great way to build the network, to make new friends, although hopefully by the fall, the situation will get a lot better. And students will also have easy access to our sporting facilities and campus event. In addition to all the facilities we have on campus, we also have mini mart, hair salon, beauty salons available, and cafeteria restaurants. And the last thing I have to mention here, which is, oh, I forgot to mention, we do have 4 dormitories, 2 for male, 2 for females. It is gender specific. And one thing about our dormitory is that we have weekly room cleaning service provided. And that's something I find it's culture shock for me, but I like it. It's very Dubai style, I guess. And a few links for important information here, but majority information will be available through Amideast website. And here is just a big quick overview about the clean scholarship. So at AUD, we have a clean scholarship available. This scholarship is only open for US citizens, for US students. So our founder and President Clinton has a history in the past, and President Clinton also, I think he was one of our commencement speaker back in 2002. So the great friendship also, as a result, this is the scholarship coming out from the friendship here. And that's just a little bit of history, but I'm gonna get into the meat and potatoes here about the eligibility and selection criteria. So again, this scholarship is only open for US citizens that are currently enrolled full-time as an undergraduate student at accredited 4-year college and universities in the United States. And we do have a GPA requirement, preferably 3.0, which, yeah, probably that's usually the criteria. And then the preference will be given to students who show interest in Middle Eastern studies. And it must be sophomore standing or above. And we will cover a full tuition waiver for 1 semester and a on-campus housing for a share room basis. And the application deadline will be June 1st for fall and then November 1st for spring. So just all contact information, then we're ready to go for Q&A session. Should I stop sharing screen, I think?
Hi, thank you for sharing about AUD and Dubai. I'm going to go a little bit into the application process, and then we can open it up for Q&A on anything you have questions about. So as it's already been mentioned, this program is going to start in spring 2022. And that means our applications will open on July 19th, 2021, so this summer. And that's a few months off, but I did want to take a few minutes to walk you all through our brochure and application process. So to do that, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so this is our Amideast EdAbroad programs landing page at edabroad.amideast.org. And so to find this program brochure, you'll want to go to New Program Application. And this program is all the way at the bottom here, this direct enroll at American University in Dubai. So this is the brochure. There's a lot of really helpful information and logistics here. You're always welcome to contact us directly at edabroad@amideast.org, or you can use this request info button here. And you'll see on this dates and deadlines table that the next available term is spring 2022, and the application will be due October 15th. The academics tab is pretty straightforward. It has some links to different AUD sites and their course catalogs. The program calendar tab is pretty helpful. We have the fall semester posted for reference, but again, it won't be starting until the spring. So you have the spring and the summer sessions listed down here. This program's cost tab will probably be especially helpful for everyone. Here you can see the semester housing and tuition fees, and you can also use this like interactive calculator to determine what your personal cost estimate might be. And once we have summer costs posted, they'll be available here and you can view those using this drop-down menu. And finally, the student resources tab is pretty straightforward. This top has a lot of links to Amity specific resources, but they're pretty broadly applicable to students across all sites and programs, whereas this bottom section lists all the sites that you might need for AUD, and some of this information Yuchun covered, and if you need to reference anything, it's available here, different handbooks and websites. Okay, and then just going back to this overview page, once the application does open, there'll be a nice apply now button right here underneath the request info button, and that is how you start your application. Now to go back to the landing page, I just want to share with you how to apply for your scholarship applications, how to start one of those. Participants on this program will be eligible for our 2 Amity Scholarships in addition to the Clinton Foundation Scholarship that was mentioned before. So to start one of those applications, you're going to select this new scholarship application button. And here you'll decide whether you will be applying for the blog abroad or the needs-based, and students can apply for and win both of them. So once you select one, you'll find more information, and once again, you'll have this apply now button, and that's how you start your application. But please note that to start an application for spring 2022, you have to wait until our program application opens on July 19th. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. That's kind of the application portal in a nutshell. Students will be able to submit applications and post acceptance materials through this portal to Amideast, including the tuition and fees payments. And once Amideast accepts the student, they've also been accepted to AUD, so there isn't a second application process. And we'll be supporting students through the pre-departure phase, and students will also be able to join the Amideast Alumni Network once they return. So that kind of sums up the application portal and process, and remember that applications will go live on July 19th. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Justine and Yuchun. And I guess we're making good time here, good progress. Thank you all for joining us. We're happy to take any of your questions. You could feel free. I hadn't thought in advance what the best way to do this is. You can feel free to put them in the chat, I suppose, or raise your hand if you like. We're happy to read them out. We're happy to take them either way. And as always, if you whatever you don't want to ask here or whatever, I know I always think of my question later, like long after something is over, sometimes right after something ends. You're always welcome to reach out to us at amideast.org.
I'm getting a question in the chat. So we have a study abroad advisor in the College of Engineering at Penn State, and they're interested in sending students and learning more about collaborating with Amideast. So who should they speak to? I think that would probably be, you can reach out to me at edabroad@amideast.org, and I can help you with any information you need and put you in contact with anyone else, maybe Yuchun or Dr. Corbett if needed.
We're small teams, both stateside for Amideast and in Dubai on the AUD side. And so whichever one of us you end up emailing, you will get the right person very quickly.
Hi, I think we also have a few questions from what they submitted. We can start from those questions as well.
Sure.
Oh, sorry, I do have another question in the chat. Are the Arabic language classes, how will those work? Are those also part of the direct enroll program?
I can start, Yujun, if that's okay. Yes, those are part of the direct enroll program. And those are all, if you look through the AUD catalog, it notes there that they are all, as I hope your programs on your own campuses are pegged to ACTFL standards. Everything between, there's a standard sequence, 101 through 302. Everything 101 through 202 is 4 credits. Everything in the 300 level, the advanced sequence is 3 credits. And that matches with, it all depends on how, that squares with Arabic on your own campuses, whether this is a good option in terms of Arabic study for your students. It will work at a lot of institutions. It will not work at some institutions. Yujun, did I cover that okay, or is there anything else that you would like to add?
Perfect. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, and someone would like to know if the application is the same for the scholarship. So if you're referring to the Amity Scholarships, I showed you where you can find those applications once they open up. And those are pretty straightforward. There's just a bit of a general information that you send in, along with, depending on what scholarship you're applying for, either your financial information or a sample of a blog or like a blogging work that you might have done. And those awards can be, they vary. The summer scholarship for the blog abroad is $500 and the semester is $1,000, and the needs-based one varies depending on your situation. And then the Clinton Foundation scholarship works a little bit differently. If Yuchen, you'd like to talk about that, just the application.
Sure. Yeah, for the Clinton Scholarship, we have separate application, and which is available on the AUD website. Students just simply need to create an account and verify the email, and then they can start the application process. So basically, you will probably be competing with a lot of students from US. So, but yeah, but the application is not that difficult. We try to make it as easy as possible. But however, at this point, it is a separate scholarship because it is still a AUD scholarship.
Okay, and then so is Arabic a required course while studying at AUD?
No, it's not required.
And could you speak a little bit more on what engineering majors are available?
So for engineering, we have civil engineering, computer engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering available for undergraduate students. And of course, on the 15th, the dean of our engineering school will be joining us for the second webinar. So if you do have more questions specifically about engineering majors, please join us.
Yeah, Eugene, if I could add something real briefly. We have applied and we will be offering a minor in artificial intelligence as of this coming fall. And probably within the next year, that will be a major here at AUD.
And so for the summer terms, could you speak a little bit on how those work? Like is there a set amount of classes that you take, or is it kind of an open semester?
I can answer that. We have 2 summer sessions currently. Summer 1, which begins right at the end of the spring semester and goes to the second week of June. And then summer session 2, which will go to just about what our the 4th of July will go to. But right now we're experimenting with, because of the pandemic, sorry, we're doing high flex courses. And this summer we'll be doing majority of high flex courses, which are half on campus and half off. It gives the faculty greater flexibility. So we don't know what's going to be happening in the summer of 2022. We may revamp our entire summer program. But yes, we do have a very vibrant summer program. But if you've never been to Dubai in the summer, it's a very difficult heat. So I would caution, if the students really want to have an enjoyable time, I would really promote the fall and the spring. The summer is quite intense, and it takes a very strong person to survive it. So
there's a saying here in Dubai. It says there are only 2 seasons here. One is summer and the other one's hell. So that kind of gives you an idea what it can be like in the summer.
Okay, and then there's one more question that maybe Elena, you could answer. Could you talk more about the sort of support and services Amideast would offer in addition to what is available at AUD?
Certainly. I can talk about what we do vis-a-vis our. It's the same plan that we have in terms of our direct enroll program with Al Akhawain University. So all students who are coming on a direct enroll program via us with a local host institution have all of the same pre-departure services available from our side, including all of our, health, safety, and security, identity and intersectionality materials, both webinars, reading materials, links, those sorts of things, the ability to engage in discussion boards or speak with us on staff for any of their questions. We do all of that pre-departure interfacing with the local host institution. So we will be meeting regularly, for instance, with Yujin and her team about, about everything. The students will be, of course, with their application materials, be submitting all of the same kinds of things that they would, as if they were coming on one of our programs where we are serving as the host institution. So whatever, we collect a lot about things that students need, any accommodations, any of those, anything in that category, any kind of disclosures that they want to make for which they will require support or would like support. We help serve as the interface with the host institution regarding that. What happens traditionally with a local partner is that once the students are on the ground, they take over. We meet regularly with the partner, especially if there are any concerns, if anything is going on, of course, anything that involves, health, safety, and security incidents. We obviously talk to each other, and we will be in touch with the home institution and be working, among the home institution, the student, the local host institution. In that regard, any academic concerns, anything like that, I can tell you that our experience to date with direct enroll situations has been that very often we spend a lot of time with the participants prior to their arrival in country. Everybody gets situated, and if there are no problems, we really have to pull teeth to hear from them and how they're doing and check in with them. But we do check in with all of our participants on direct enroll programs on a regular basis. They tend to meld and have fun, and we when they don't respond to us over and over again, you know, we will check with the host institution to, you know, how are they doing? They're not responding to their emails, that sort of thing. And usually they've just taken off about their lives and forgotten about us and prefer not to respond. And that, when it happens, is a good thing. But we're there, we're checking in. Yuchun, do you want to add anything from your side about student support services?
Yeah, we do have a student support service on campus available as well, but I do think the collaboration with Amideast is they can help us and better prepare for students when they come on board. It is a different, something will be different, it still be culture shock, and then we do appreciate that kind of transition during student in. For example, our weekend here is different. Like Sunday, this past Easter, we have to work because Sunday is actually our work day. Our weekends are actually on Friday and Saturday. So things like that, with the collaboration with Amideast, I'm sure it's gonna be better to help prepare for students to transition into our campus.
Thank you for answering that, both of you. Okay, so there's another question here. Can students take a mix of courses? So for example, can they take engineering courses, art courses, and language courses all in the same semester?
I can answer that if you don't mind, Eugene. Yeah, they, you know, as long as they have the prerequisites, they can take the courses that their home institution allows them to take. So,
And I guess just one more question, unless anyone else has any. This was a pre-submitted one, but a lot of people were interested in things like language partners or internships, community-based learning, which are parts of our other Amideast programs. So maybe you could, either of you or any of you could speak on maybe like the extracurricular sort of cultural components to the program.
Eugene, do you want to say a few things, or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
You know, I've only been here now for about 2 years as the president, and one of the things that we're looking at, of course, is hosting more, and in particular, American students. And so we do have although it was a bit sidetracked because of the pandemic, we do at least have plans for fall to continue with our buddy system and our study abroad ambassadors program, so that at least students can get a little bit more easily acclimated. But to be honest, as someone who came here after 28 years in higher ed in the US and acclimated amazingly well, I don't speak any Arabic. I've never had a language difficulty here. It is a totally bilingual, if not majority English city. And it's very similar to what Dr. Corbett said, is we really don't hear from the students because there's so much here on campus and in the city of Dubai to keep them busy. So I think, you know, we have, think of this, if you can imagine a university of about 2,000 students in the United States that has been airlifted and now put into Dubai. We are gated, we are situated in between Internet City and Media City. If I look out my window now, I see the headquarters of UAE, CNN, and NBC, along with the BBC. So it's really an amazing place for students to be exposed to something. Also, to reference what Dr. Corbett was saying about really diversifying where American students are going. And this may sound a bit tacky or cheesy, but if the majority of our students are going to the UK or Italy or Spain, that's fine if you want to study history. But if you want to study the future, please send them to the UAE. It's safe. I mean, a lot of universities in the US have 30 to 40 different nationalities on their campus. We have now 105. We are number 2 in the world with diverse faculty. That means that they're going to be taught by a lot of different people with a lot of different backgrounds and cultures and experiences. So please, I hope you provide this as an option to your students. I'll be quiet now.
And if I may also just have put in a little promotion time here, I think this, in particular for this collaboration, because prior joining AUD, I was academic advisor as well in a US institution, universities, students, they do want to study abroad. And then I didn't know either that, UAE plays in the Middle East. You don't have to speak Arabic to get it wrong. I shamefully admit I don't speak any Arabic either. So it doesn't mean this is not a place for students to learn a language. The majority of population here, they do speak it, just that, for the people who don't speak it, it is also an opportunity, which is why this collaboration is so important, because it really opens the door for students outside of language learning. I remember students before, either business major, engineering major, or even international relations major, they always want to combine their major area with original study, but in this region, it can be a little bit difficult, and we really would like to open the door for different students, different major in different areas.
I'll just jump in for a second. In terms of some of those, as Justine noted, we had a lot of questions related to components of our programs in other countries where we, again, are the host institution. There are so many clubs and activities and whatever on the AUD campus, and whatever our direct enroll participant, our direct enroll participants are going to have access to whatever is available there, which is just a range of clubs and sports and opportunities for excursions that the school itself and the clubs are doing. Those are very different, again, from the kind of programming that we do on the on our island programs on the ground in Amman and Rabat and Tunis. In terms of internships, because we were having this, a couple of you joined the webinar as we were having a discussion amongst ourselves. As many of you know, at Amideast, we have, with our own programs, we have been the ones where we, again, are the host institution. We have really been holding the line about community-based learning versus internships, because we know as providers on the ground that when we have offered internship programming on a customized basis, but particularly in places like Amman and Rabat and Tunis, you are looking at populations where there are a lot of very educated youth and where youth employment is a real issue. And so to properly set up an internship program that is not, that is effective also in the host community, you have to be very careful about that, and it takes a lot of real planning to involve as many local students in the internship opportunity as you have US-based students. There's always going to be that power dynamic, and we have seen firsthand putting US students into internships on site in places like Amman and Rabat, where local youth who had jobs lost them because we had a continuous supply of free, native English speaking labor. And that's not okay. And so while we don't face that problem in Dubai, there is a problem vis-a-vis the visas. We have explored this. I mean, this is one reason why over the past few years, all of our attempts, we have looked into, when we've been thinking about our UAE offices, internships kept coming up over and over again. And we've done quite a bit of exploration into this and have not yet discovered how we crack that nut of it is the visa situation versus if they're a student, if they're working, is problematic in the UAE in ways that it is not problematic in other places. And so for right now, we are not diving headlong with any sort of, internships are a ways off. It's not saying that they're impossible, that we won't find a way around this, but it is a real sticking point for now.
Okay, and then I think the last question is, are the students' transcripts issued by AUD or another school of record?
It will be AUD.
Yes, it would be AUD, and because we are SACS accredited, there should be no issue.
Okay. Well, I think that's the last question, unless anyone wants to sneak one in the last minute. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's it.
Well, we'll see you guys next time, maybe.
We
Yeah.
did have, before we go, we did have one question. Sorry, I just trying to follow in the chat. Ramadan.
Oh, yeah.
Yujun, you mentioned and it's always an issue, the difference in weekend. Ramadan is Abeb. It's coming. It's
It is.
approaching. Can you talk a little bit about what life is like in Dubai during Ramadan and the extent to which it impacts the schedule and the calendar and that sort of thing?
Let me talk a little bit about my experience in Dubai, and then in terms of a schedule, I will let Dr. Schmidt answer that one. And personally speaking, we will, of course, is still a Muslim country, so we will adjust our schedule, work schedule, and then there's a you will feel people getting up super late and the night rises get a little bit longer. So it is different, but as far as for day-to-day life, it's not much a difference at all. You do, however, need to be more careful when you are out and about, which if we're still under the shadow pandemic, that probably won't be an issue. During daytime, when you go out, be careful not to drink water or eat. And then the restaurants, some of them will remain open, we put a curtain on. So for most of the people, being mindful, being respectful, it's not going to be that much a difference at all. As far as the course schedule and on-campus life, I'm going to let Dr. Schmidt answer that one.
Yeah, do I have my microphone on? I do, sorry. Yeah, we've been told specifically, obviously for employees, faculty and staff, we do have reduced hours that are mandated by the federal government. But with respect to our schedules, we've been told specifically by the ministry that there should be no exceptions made for local students, Emirati students, Muslim students, that they are still expected to come to the classes when they're scheduled. And it will become an increasing problem because, of course, Ramadan moves backwards, and it'll be starting very soon. And then, of course, it continues to move back. So yeah, it's not been an issue for our students. They don't complain because they're told not to, and they just kind of bear with it through Ramadan.
And during pre-departure, especially for students who are going abroad during Ramadan, during the pre-departure in our particularly our live sessions that we do, we talk a little bit about that and what's required and what's not. Nobody is expected to fast, but for instance, you wouldn't want to, particularly in May in the UAE, you wouldn't want to walk down the street in the middle of the day while most of the people around you are fasting, chugging a bottle of water. There are spaces set aside for that. I as a non-observant, non-fasting person, have lived a lot of most of my adult life abroad in Ramadan, and it's a wonderful time of year. It really is. There are things, as Yuchin said, you see the sort of the gulf between like day space and night space completely changes, and there are things that only happen that time of year, and lucky are the participants who get to see that and experience that. It's really one of a kind, and it's really, really festive, particularly at the beginning and particularly at the end, and it really is it is a wonderful time of year. So and especially all the feasting that happens at the end, it's truly special. And so no one should be afraid to come during Ramadan.
No, not in fact. I think Yujun touched upon something which was really important, and the Dubai ruler and the rulers of the UAE for years have been stressing. Most often, when they speak, they use the word tolerance, and this is an extremely tolerant culture and nation. But having moved here actually during Ramadan 2 years ago, you find that you do have this amazing respect for what is different. And I think that's something that students should be exposed to, American students. So it's really been fantastic to observe. So I think that's it for today, right?
Yes, that is it. Thank you everyone for coming, and thank you to AUD for being here. Our next webinar will be on April 15th at the same time, 10 a.m. I included the sign up form at the very beginning of the chat that you can find if you haven't already RSVP'd or just want a recording of it afterwards. And the recording of this one will also be sent out along with the other two after the whole series concludes. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who learned a little bit about AUD. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Eugene and David.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
You guys stay
Thanks.
safe.
Bye.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.